My plane began its descent over the Indian Ocean. I looked out the window and saw a coastline of brilliant white sand meeting turquoise water. This was Mogadishu. For years, this city's name had been linked with danger and chaos in my mind, a place defined by news reports of conflict and instability. I was nervous, I'll admit. My assumptions were built on headlines, not human experience. I expected to find a city frozen in fear, a place where life was lived in the shadows. But as the wheels of the aircraft touched down on the tarmac of Aden Ade International Airport, I felt a sense of anticipation that was stronger than my apprehension. I was here to see for myself, to understand the reality behind the reports. Stepping out of the airport, the first thing that hit me was not fear, but life. The air was warm and thick with the scent of sea salt and exhaust fumes. The sounds were a symphony of organized chaos, the honking of car horns, the cheerful shouts of vendors, and the murmur of countless conversations in Somali. I had imagined checkpoints and armed guards at every corner, and while security is a reality here, it did not define the landscape. Instead, I saw a city in constant motion. People were going about their day with a purpose and an energy that was infectious. My initial feelings of unease began to fade, replaced by a deep curiosity. I wanted to know more about this place that was already challenging every single one of my preconceived notions. The journey from the airport to my hotel was a whirlwind of sights and sounds. We drove past buildings pockmarked with the scars of past conflicts, stark reminders of the city's difficult history. Yet, right next to them stood new constructions, their fresh paint and glass windows gleaming in the afternoon sun. Children in colorful school uniforms laughed and played on the side of the road, chasing a worn-out football with pure joy. Tuk-tuks, brightly decorated and buzzing like bees, weaved through the traffic with incredible skill. It was a city of contrasts, where the past and the future were living side by side, creating a unique and vibrant present. I realized then that Mogadishu was not a city of ghosts. It was a city of survivors. My first evening was spent simply observing from a small cafe. I watched families enjoying a meal together, friends sharing stories over steaming cups of sweet Somali tea, and business people closing deals on their phones. The atmosphere was surprisingly normal, almost mundane in its familiarity. It was the kind of scene you could witness in any city around the world. This was not the Mogadishu I had read about. This was not a city defined solely by its struggles. This was a place where life, in all its messy and beautiful forms, was happening right in front of me. I knew then that this journey would be about unlearning as much as it was about learning, about peeling back the layers of headlines to find the human heart beating beneath. The next morning, I woke up to the sound of the call to prayer echoing across the city, a beautiful and melodic start to the day. I decided to explore the Hamar Wain district, the old town of Mogadishu. Its narrow, winding streets were a world away from the wider boulevards of the new city. Here, history felt tangible. The architecture told stories of ancient trade routes, of Arab, Persian, and Italian influences blending with Somali culture. Walking through these alleyways, I felt like I was stepping back in time. Shopkeepers were just opening their stores, sweeping the entryways and arranging their goods. The smell of freshly baked bread and strong spiced coffee filled the air. It was a quiet, peaceful start to another busy day. As the sun climbed higher, the streets came alive with a vibrant energy. Markets overflowed with everything you could imagine, from colorful fabrics and intricate handmade jewelry to mountains of fresh fruits and vegetables. Fishermen brought in their morning catch from the ocean, their voices carrying over the noise of the crowd as they haggled with customers. I saw tailors sitting at their sewing machines, their fingers moving with practiced speed, and craftsmen carving intricate designs into wooden furniture. It was a powerful display of commerce and creativity, a city that was not just surviving, but actively working and building. The media rarely shows this side of Mogadishu, the everyday hustle of people making a living, providing for their families, and contributing to their community. Somalia's recent history is undeniably one of hardship and pain. Decades of civil war and instability have left deep scars on the nation and its people. Every person I met had a story of loss or struggle. Yet, what struck me most was not the focus on past suffering, but the overwhelming emphasis on the present and the future. People spoke of the bad years as a chapter that has closed, or at least one they are determined to close. They are rebuilding their city brick by brick and their lives day by day. This forward-looking attitude was incredibly inspiring. It was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, the ability to endure unimaginable hardship and still find the strength to hope and build again. It is this continuation of life that is so often missed in the headlines. While the world focused on pirates and conflict, people in Mogadishu were falling in love, raising children, starting businesses, and dreaming of a better future. Life did not stop. It adapted. The city found a new rhythm, a new way of being. Watching children play on Lido Beach, their laughter mixing with the sound of the waves, I saw a powerful symbol of this renewal. They were growing up in a city that was slowly healing, a city that was daring to hope for peace and stability. They were the future of Mogadishu, and their joy was the most powerful counter-narrative to the stories of despair. What truly defines a place is its people, and the people of Mogadishu are some of the most welcoming I have ever met. Everywhere I went, I was greeted with a warm smile and the friendly greeting Sudawu, which means welcome. People were genuinely curious about where I was from and why I had come to their city. They were eager to share their stories and their culture with me. One afternoon, I was invited into the home of a woman named Fatima, a mother of 5, who ran a small tea shop from her front room. She insisted I sit with her family and share a meal. Her hospitality was overwhelming, a simple act of kindness that spoke volumes about the generosity of the Somali people. Fatima shared her story with me. She had lost her husband during the war and had raised her children on her own. She spoke of the difficult times with a quiet strength, but her focus was on the present. She was proud of her small business and even prouder of her children, who were all in school. "We have seen too much darkness," she told me, her eyes filled with a powerful determination. "Now, we must live for the light." Her words stayed with me long after I left her home. They captured the spirit of resilience that I encountered again and again in Mogadishu. It is a spirit that refuses to be broken, a spirit that finds hope in the most challenging of circumstances. Another day, I met a young man named Ahmed, who was studying to be an engineer at a local university. He was full of optimism and ambition. He spoke passionately about his desire to help rebuild his country. He showed me pictures on his phone of new roads, hospitals, and schools that were being constructed across the city. "The world sees us as a failed state," he said, "but they don't see us. They don't see the students, the doctors, the entrepreneurs. We are here, and we are building our future." His hope was not a blind optimism. It was a practical, determined belief in the potential of his people and his country. It was a powerful reminder that a nation's story is written by its citizens, not by foreign journalists. These encounters challenged every stereotype I held. The media often portrays Somalis as either victims or perpetrators of violence. But the people I met were neither. They were simply people with the same hopes, fears, and dreams as anyone else. They were parents, students, business owners, and artists. They were survivors who had found a way to not just endure, but to live with grace, humor, and an unshakable sense of community. Their warmth and hospitality were a stark contrast to the images of conflict and hostility that dominate the news. They showed me that behind every headline, there are human beings with stories that deserve to be heard. One of my most cherished memories of Mogadishu is of the coastline. Lido Beach, once a no-go zone, is now a popular spot for families and friends to gather, especially on weekends. Walking along the shore, I saw a scene of pure, simple joy. People were swimming in the ocean, playing football on the sand, and enjoying picnics under the shade of umbrellas. The sound of laughter filled the air, mingling with the gentle roar of the waves. It was a scene of peace and normalcy, a powerful symbol of the city's transformation. This was the Mogadishu that the world needs to see. A city reclaiming its public spaces, a city learning to relax and enjoy life again. This experience stood in such stark contrast to the image of Mogadishu that is so often presented in the media. The headlines focus on bomb blasts and political instability, painting a picture of a city perpetually on the brink of collapse. And while those dangers are real, they are not the whole story. They are just one small part of a much larger, more complex reality. The media's narrow focus creates a one-dimensional caricature of a place, stripping it of its humanity and its hope. My time in Mogadishu taught me that the absence of war is not the only definition of peace. Peace can also be found in the everyday moments, a shared meal, a game of football on the beach, a child's laughter. This trip fundamentally changed my understanding of what it means to know a place. It taught me that you cannot understand a city or a country through news reports alone. You have to go there. You have to walk its streets, breathe its air, and listen to its people. You have to be willing to set aside your preconceived notions and open yourself up to the reality on the ground. Fear and stereotypes build walls between us, but personal experience can tear them down. Seeing Mogadishu with my own eyes allowed me to see beyond the fear and connect with the incredible human spirit that defines the city. In the end, my journey to Mogadishu was not a story about danger or despair. It was a story about resilience, hope, and the remarkable capacity of human beings to rebuild their lives and their communities in the face of incredible adversity. The people of Mogadishu are not waiting to be saved. They are actively saving themselves, building a better future one day at a time. They taught me that the true spirit of a place is not found in its darkest moments, but in the light that shines through the cracks. It is a lesson in empathy and understanding that I will carry with me forever.